Hello, and welcome back to Bible Brain Teaser channel. Before start, help us to subscribe our channel and like this video. Today, we have 20 questions related to the biblical book of Esther and the life of Mordecai. Each you have 7 seconds to think. Let's get started. Question number 1. Who adopted Esther as his own daughter? A. Haman. B. Xerxes. C. Mordecai. Time for thinking. The correct answer is Mordecai. Esther 2:7. Mordecai had a cousin named Hadassah, whom he had brought up because she had neither father nor mother. This young woman, who was also known as Esther, had a lovely figure and was beautiful. Two, what position did Mordecai hold in the king's court? A. Scribe. B. Cupbearer. C. Gatekeeper. Time for thinking. The correct answer is scribe. Esther 2:19, when the virgins were assembled a second time, Mordecai was sitting at the king's gate. Three, who plotted to destroy the Jews in the Persian Empire? A. Esther. B. Xerxes. C. Haman. Time for thinking. The correct answer is Haman. Esther 3:1-2. After these events, King Xerxes honored Haman son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, elevating him and giving him a seat of honor higher than that of all the other nobles. 4. What did Mordecai refuse to do when Haman was elevated? A. Bow down. B. Offer sacrifice. C. Pay tribute. Time for thinking. The correct answer is bow down. Esther 3:2. All the royal officials at the king's gate knelt down and paid honor to Haman, for the king had commanded this concerning him. But Mordecai would not kneel down or pay him honor. Five, who advised Esther to approach the king and plead for her people? A. Memucan. B. Higai. C. Mordecai. Time for thinking. The correct answer is Mordecai. Esther 4:13-14. Do not think that because you are in the king's house, you alone of all the Jews will escape. For if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance for the Jews will arise from another place, but you and your father's family will perish. And who knows but that you have come? 6. What was Esther's original name before becoming queen? A. Vashti. B. Hadassah. C. Shiphrah. Time for thinking. The correct answer is Hadassah. Esther 2:7. Mordecai had a cousin named Hadassah, whom he had brought up because she had neither father nor mother. This young woman, who was also known as Esther, had a lovely figure and was beautiful. 7. How did Mordecai save the king's life? A. Revealed the conspiracy. B. Warned of an assassination. C. Fought in battle. Time for thinking. The correct answer is revealed a conspiracy. Esther 2, 21-23. During the time Mordecai was sitting at the king's gate, Bigthana and Teresh, two of the king's officers who guarded the doorway, became angry and conspired to assassinate King Xerxes. But Mordecai found out about the plot and told Queen Esther, who in turn reported it to the king. Eight. What decree did Haman convince the king to issue against the Jews? A banishment. B. Enslavement. C. Annihilation. Time for thinking. The correct answer is annihilation. Esther 3, 8, 9. Then Haman said to King Xerxes, "There is a certain people dispersed among the peoples in all the provinces of your kingdom who keep themselves separate. Their customs are different from those of all other people, and they do not obey the king's laws. It is not in the king's best int." 9. What did Mordecai request Esther to do in order to help the Jews? A. Organize a rebellion. B. Seek revenge. C. Intercede with the king. Time for thinking. The correct answer is intercede with the king. Esther 4-8. He also gave him a copy of the text of the edict for their annihilation, which had been published in Susa, to show to Esther and explain it to her. And he told him to instruct her to go into the king's presence, to beg for mercy and plead with him for her people. 10. How did Esther approach the king without being summoned, risking her life? A. Entered boldly. B. Sent a messenger. C. Fast and prayed. Time for thinking. The correct answer is entered boldly. Esther 4:16. Go, gather together all the Jews who are in Susa, and fast for me. Do not eat or drink for 3 days, night or day. I and my attendants will fast as you do. When this is done, I will go to the king, even though it is against the law. And if I perish, I perish. 11. What was the fate of Haman? A. Exiled. B. Imprisoned. C. Hanged on the gallows. Time for thinking. The correct answer is hanged on the gallows. Esther 7:10. So they impaled Haman on the pole he had set up for Mordecai. Then the king's fury subsided. 12. How did King Xerxes honor Mordecai after the downfall of Haman? A. Made him prime minister. B. Gave him a province. C. Gave him Haman's estate. Time for thinking. The correct answer is gave him a province. Esther 8:1. That same day, King Xerxes gave Queen Esther the estate of Haman, the enemy of the Jews. And Mordecai came into the presence of the king, for Esther had told how he was related to her. 13. What feast did Esther and Mordecai establish to commemorate their deliverance? A. Feast of Purim. B. Feast of Tabernacles. C. Feast of Passover. Time for thinking. The correct answer is Feast of Purim. Esther 9, 20-22 Mordecai recorded these events, and he sent letters to all the Jews throughout the provinces of King Xerxes, near and far, to have them celebrate annually the 14th and 15th days of the month of Adar as the time when the Jews got relief from their enemies, and as the month. 14. Who were the sons of Haman? A. Parshandatha and Delphin. B. Jair and Darius. C. Phalu and Hears. Time for thinking. The correct answer is Parshandatha and Delphin. Esther 9, 7:10. The king's command and edict went out, and many girls were brought to the citadel of Susa and put under the care of Hegai. Esther also was taken to the king's palace and entrusted to Hegai, who had charge of the harem. 15. How many provinces did King Xerxes rule over in the story of Esther? A. 120. B. 127. C. 150. Time for thinking. The correct answer is 127. Esther 1:1. This is what happened during the time of Xerxes, the Xerxes who ruled over 127 provinces stretching from India to Kush. 16. Who was Mordecai's cousin and became queen of Persia? A. Vashti. B. Hadassah. C. Shifra. Time for thinking. The correct answer is Hadassah. Esther 2:7. Mordecai had a cousin named Hadassah, whom he had brought up because she had neither father nor mother. This young woman, who was also known as Esther, had a lovely figure and was beautiful. 17. What did Mordecai instruct Esther to hide when she entered the king's presence? A. Her identity. B. Her nationality. C. Her beauty. Time for thinking. The correct answer is her nationality. Esther 2:10. Esther had not revealed her nationality and family background because Mordecai had forbidden her to do so. 18. Who was the queen before Esther, who was deposed for disobedience? A. Vashti. B. Abihail. C. Milcah. Time for thinking. The correct answer is Vashti. Esther 1:19. Therefore, if it pleases the king, let him issue a royal decree, and let it be written in the laws of Persia and Media, which cannot be repealed, that Vashti is never again to enter the presence of King Xerxes. Also, let the king give her royal position to someone else who is better. 19. What did Mordecai wear as a sign of mourning when faced with the decree of annihilation? A. Sackcloth and ashes. B. Purple robes. C. Crown of thorns. Time for thinking. The correct answer is sackcloth and ashes. Esther 4:1. When Mordecai learned of all that had been done, he tore his clothes, put on sackcloth and ashes, and went out into the city, wailing loudly and bitterly. 20. What is the significance of the name Purim? A. Feast of Deliverance. B. Feast of Lots. C. Feast of Redemption. Time for thinking. The correct answer is Feast of Lots. Esther 9:26. Therefore these days were called Purim, from the word pur, because of everything written in this letter, and because of what they had seen and what had happened to them. Thanks for watching till the end of this video. Please click the button subscribe our channel.